The Royal Palace of Whitehall is England's most important and significant lost building. Sadly to many, little is known or understood about the palace. It was, however, Europe's largest palace in its heyday, covering 23 acres and had over 2,000 rooms. It eclipsed Versailles, the Vatican, and Hampton Court. In 1245, it then became the official London residence of the Archbishop of York, under the name of York Place, making this property obtain a special importance. But it was only with the coming of Cardinal Thomas Wolsey, a butcher's son born in Ipswich, Suffolk, that the palace finally transformed from its medieval beginnings into a flourishing palace, which outdone anything that King Henry VIII had. Due to Wolsey failing to secure the king a divorce from the Pope between him and his first wife, Catherine of Aragon, and with the rise of the power of the Boleyn factions, Wolsey fell from grace in 1530 and was compelled to leave his splendid residence. King Henry liked York Place very much. It was immediately decided that this would be the new seat of the monarchy, and Henry thought that it would make a splendid love nest for himself and Anne Boleyn. Anne absolutely adored York Place herself. At Christmas 1529, Henry and Anne hid themselves at Greenwich Palace to start designing the new palace at Whitehall. Henry and Anne were also passionate with their building design. By Easter 1532, Anne was publicly acknowledged as the future queen, and so was able to inspect the progress of the work at will. In December of that year, Anne became pregnant, and she and the king were determined to finish Whitehall so it would be ready for the new prince. Henry secretly married Anne Boleyn on the 14th of November 1532. The wedding is said to have taken place before daybreak in the High Chamber over the Holbein Gate at Whitehall Palace. There were very few witnesses: Sir Henry Norris, Thomas Heneage, Anne Savage, a client of William Brereton, and a groom of the Privy Chamber, possibly Brereton himself. On the 24th of February 1533, Anne hosted a banquet for the French ambassador in her apartments at Whitehall. The 31st of May 1533, Anne made a ceremonial entry into London for her coronation. Late in the afternoon, Anne arrived at Westminster Hall, then changed out of her robes and left secretly by barge to Whitehall, where the king awaited her. The next day she was crowned queen at Westminster Abbey. After a banquet at Westminster Hall, at 6 p.m. she departed and spent the night at Whitehall. Then on the 2nd of June, jousts were held in honour of the coronation at Whitehall Palace. Then followed a goodly banquet in the Queen's apartments. In July 1533, Henry set off on a progress which was restricted to the London area due to Anne's advancing pregnancy. A week later, Henry returned to Anne at Whitehall Palace. Unfortunately for them both, a son was not born. The baby was a girl. Elizabeth and her mother's fine rooms were never completed for them. Anne Boleyn was accused on treason charges of committing adultery with some of the king's favourites and incest with her brother George. She set a precedent by being the first English queen to be sentenced to death. On the 19th of May 1536, she was beheaded by the sword.